Welcome, viewers and listeners, to another edition of CHP Talks. I'm here today with a very special guest coming to us from Ontario, Mr. Matt Alexander. Matt, thanks for being with us today.
Well, it's good to be here.
And for those who may not know, Matt Alexander is a former school teacher, a Christian pastor, and veteran of the Army Reserves. He spent over 20 years teaching in the Ottawa Valley until he and his wife were abruptly terminated by his school board for refusing to celebrate and affirm the LGBTQ agenda in the school system. He is also the father of Josh Alexander, the young man who became a hero and role model for many young people in Canada and a household name among pro-life, pro-family, pro-freedom Canadians. Josh, their son, has been a guest on this show, and I've run into him at various events around the country. His story has also been picked up by many podcasters and even mainstream media in both Canada and the U.S. So, Matt, your son has gained a lot of notoriety in a good way in recent years. We certainly appreciate his courage and willingness to go through some sacrifices to do the right thing. So I think that means something about the way you and your wife, Nicole, have raised your children.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah, we raised our kids to be followers of Jesus and to adhere to the Word of God, and yeah, it's going to affect your actions for sure. And he definitely stood by his principles and was a leader, so we appreciate that.
Yes. I recently saw an article about you and your wife, Nicole, in the Epoch Times, which has become kind of the trusted source of news in Canada and the U.S. compared to some of our other uh, daily periodicals that have, of course, been guilty of a lot of misinformation, disinformation. They like to accuse others of that, but anyway, that prompted me to want to interview you. I had the pleasure of meeting you last year. That was
Yeah.
great. And again, I just really appreciate the way you've raised your family. So this incident with Josh, maybe you could spell it out for anyone listening to this program. I think they must have been living under a rock if they don't know about Josh's story, but that kind of was in the spotlight before you and Nicole had your troubles with school board. So do you want to just lay out what happened with Josh?
Sure. Yeah, just in brief, I mean, it's quite a long story, but um, Josh was put into the Catholic school board in our area after having been in the public board. And a couple months after attending his high school there in the Catholic board, some of the girls in his class came to him and said, we've got boys in our washroom and we're not comfortable. We don't like it. So Josh proceeded to as a young man, you go to his principal and ask about it and what can be done about it. And it wasn't met with much reception. Um, and so it got to the point where eventually where Josh organized a protest about the males in girls' washrooms, and that led to him being suspended because of the calling that protest and concerns I guess the board had about that. Um, the suspension went on to become an exclusion, which is a whole other thing, which is supposed to be not punitive, but one would question the way that was rolled out. But he was excluded from school, which is something as a 20 plus year educator, I'd never even heard of a student being excluded. You could be expelled, you could be suspended, but an exclusion was a brand new deal. But anyway, he was excluded from school, and then eventually he decided that he was going to go to school. So he went to school, he went to a shop class, and the school board called the police and had him arrested at school. And that hit Fox News. It went global when that happened. And,
Yeah, he was 16 at that time. Is that right? Yeah.
yeah,
And so he was arrested, and since that time, because of Fox News and a lot of other outlets carrying the story, especially people that are sympathetic to these types of causes, people who are concerned about the LGBT agenda and so on. He got, I know he was going across the country speaking to various groups. I ran into him in a few places, and I think there was an incident in Calgary, if I'm not mistaken, where Josh and his brother were basically assaulted, or can you?
Yeah, the one in Calgary, that was just Josh. He was out there. It was actually a protest, basically in support of what Josh had been doing, held out at a school out in Calgary. And while Josh was walking up the sidewalk, he was actually assaulted by um, whatever you want to call them, the other side, the
Yeah.
rainbow protesters, and they actually were charged, and multiple people were eventually charged. They arrested Josh, which is the typical pattern, right? They make the easy arrest to, I guess, calm the situation down, and later on they arrested the other people. But Josh was released, no charges, whatever. But he returned back and gave out Bibles and told people about Jesus Christ and. Uh, did what he wanted to do. So,
Well, that's awesome. So when did this? First of all, I'm going to say what you and your wife were both terminated as teachers, and that not in the Catholic school board, was it? That was,
no, we were public school board teachers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were you
King County, we were public board.
were you teaching in the same school?
No, we were in different schools.
No. Do you think that Josh is, the fact that Josh was kind of became well known about this issue, do you think that affected what happened with you and your wife? Do you think there were, sort of you became a target because of that, or was it just independent of what happened there?
Well, I can't speak to the mind of school board officials or what they
Yeah,
were doing. I don't know. I can't speak to what they were thinking. I do know I was asked questions about him, but we'll leave that up to the school
sure.
board.
Fair enough. We don't claim to read other people's minds. Sometimes we have ideas about what motivates people. But so, what actually happened with you and your wife? It's very interesting that both of you were terminated, and I don't know if it was at around the same time, but maybe give us the background of what happened there, the physical facts, and which led to your termination.
Yeah, so it was in April of 2023. I just got a phone call on a Monday night from my principal saying, "Don't come back to school. You're under investigation," with no facts really given. That was that. No warning. I'd had no discussions, no nothing. I wasn't warned, like nothing. I just phoned said, "Don't come back to school." And about 3 weeks later, ish, my wife was in the school and she walked in early in the morning to her classroom. She was teaching kindergarten at the time, by the way. And when she walked up to her classroom, there was a rainbow flag poster on the door, and she hadn't put it there, so she just removed it and put it in the closet. And anyway, within a short little while, she was called to the office and asked if she removed the rainbow flag, and she said she did, and so she was told she was suspended and under investigation.
Hmm.
So that was within about 3 weeks
Oh,
of my suspension.
yeah. And in your case, was there an incident? I mean, you said the principal didn't tell you, it didn't give you any details. There was no incident that took place that
Yeah, there's no incident that took place. It took them months of investigation to call me in, and I went under some questioning, and they asked me about some things. I responded to them, and a few months later, they eventually terminated us. So there were no credible allegations of any kind. I have a perfect teaching record, perfect disciplinary record. I was actually 9 years of my career, I filled in as a principal designate. So when the principal was out of the building, I was in charge of the building and I was asked to do that. So by all different principals. So I would think if I was of any kind of harm to the students, that probably wouldn't have been the case. But
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's a strange world we live in today. This whole concept of compelled speech, basically, in the case of, I'm sticking my neck out to say, but to have your that your wife was in trouble for removing something from the door of her classroom that she didn't put there.
It
Whatever.
wasn't required, by the way. It wasn't a requirement.
Yeah. So
So,
that if you are both being basically were being pressured, and then of course they didn't keep up the pressure very long, they just got rid of you. If you were being pressured to agree with the LGBT agenda in some way, shape, or form, endorsing it with by having the rainbow flag represented or whatever. That's the world we live in, where people are forced to say things that they don't agree with in order to placate those who want
yeah.
that agenda pushed forward. So, um,
Yeah. With the, during that period of suspension, we were told by the board that despite their concerns, if we would agree to celebrate and affirm the LGBTQ issues, then we'd have our jobs back. But
oh,
we were Christians, and we told them, well,
yeah,
we can't celebrate and affirm what we don't agree with. We believe it to be sin.
yeah,
And we've always, and that's even on record, we've always had a welcoming environment for all students, and we promise to continue to do so, but we're not about to celebrate that which we don't believe in.
yeah.
Um, so that's where the rubber really met the road.
Sure. Well, you is that I was interested how and when you became Christians. Were you raised in a Christian home? And you and your wife, were you both raised as Christians, or was that a decision you made later in life?
Decisions made later in life for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not raised in a Christian home, but I became a trusted Christ as my Savior when I was 17. So I met other Christians, and I learned of his death, burial, and resurrection and what it meant for me and my sins. And I put my faith in that at 17, and it's been a lifelong journey. And my wife was a little bit later. It was in university that she came to trust the Lord. So.
No. Well, very good. I also came to Christ in my mid 20s, early mid 20s. And of course, once you've made that decision, you never look back. There's no regrets. The only wish that you had maybe known sooner or had made that decision earlier in life. But what a great thing to be able to represent Jesus in the classroom. And I think that's one of the things we're big about electing politicians and improving the laws and so on. But I think one of the battlegrounds, obviously, you found that out in this country, one of the places where we need more Christians, more people dedicated to the kingdom principles of, supportive of life and family and so on, is in the classrooms of this nation. And I think it's tragic that the classrooms of this nation have become a place where uh, ideas antithetical to a Christian worldview are being promoted, and that seems to be endorsed by governments at all levels. So you are in court now, or not today, but you are in a court process. Who's representing you in that?
Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, they're one of their organizations, Charter Advocates. They're supporting us, and they've been absolutely fantastic. We've got a team with them who's been working hard. Um, so as you know, they've taken on a lot of high-profile
Oh,
cases in this
yeah,
country. So
yeah,
we're honored to have been picked up by them, and without their support, I don't know what we do because we wouldn't be able to afford to fight the legal battle for sure.
yeah. John Carpe and his team doing fabulous work in this country from a legal perspective. And well, you know that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms begins with the phrase Canada is founded on principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. We often say that if our politicians and judges would adhere to that basic tenet of our Constitution, we would have a lot less trouble in this land, happier young people, and a better economy. So You're standing up for those good things. How can people either learn more about your case, follow your case, or give to your legal fund?
So our legal fund again is through Justice Center. So jccf.ca is their website, and I don't know if maybe we'll have a link uh, in the description here. Maybe also on Twitter, I am real Matt A underscore on Twitter, and so I'll post updates there as things progress. I imagine this is going to take a while. I don't imagine it's going to be a very quick process.
Yeah,
Most legal matters aren't, and
yeah.
certainly this one will be.
So your Twitter handle again is what?
Real Matt A underscore.
At Twitter.
Yeah.
Or real Matt A dot underscore. Okay, wonderful. Well, Matt, we certainly wish you and your wife Nicole all the best. And as you go through this journey, I'm sorry that on behalf of our nation, our morally impoverished nation, and our, basically broken justice system, I apologize as a citizen of the country that you are facing this. But thank you for standing strong on your beliefs. Thank you for raising children that will honor and glorify God and are willing to make sacrifices to see the right thing done in this country. And we certainly wish you the best of success in this court case. Love to see you and your wife back in the classroom teaching young children about being good in this world and achieving and being successful. You obviously have done that in your family. And we wish you the best of success in this court case as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.